Next, we look forward for the presence of Air Commodore GL Hiremath, VSM veteran Indian Air Force, to speak on nation building and armed forces. Before that, I request to play the video clip of his introduction. Audio, please. Is an Air Commodore GL Hiremath, Vishisht Seva Medal, veteran, is an erstwhile member of the Indian Air Force. Basically belongs to Karnataka, born in Gokak and brought up at Bagalkot. First class master's degree from Karnataka University, Dharwad, 1975. After that, distinction in all the courses in services including MBA from National Institute of Management, Kolkata. He was working for a PhD when he got a call to join Indian Air Force. He has served for 35 years in Indian Air Force. He is 65 plus years young. He was commissioned in Indian Air Force in June 1977. He was heading many senior posts. Some are Commanding Officer of Air Force Intelligence Unit covering 5 South Indian states and islands, Chief Training Officer of a large training establishment, Chief Admin Officer of 2 major Indian Air Force establishments, Chief Personal Staff Officer of 2 major command headquarters, Director at Air Headquarters New Delhi Infrastructure, presently into motivating youth through personal example in adventure and nature care. He has participated in state, national and international level cycle, motorcycle and car rallies. He has been commended by Chief of the Air Staff twice in 1989 and 2001, by AOC in Sea in 2000 and decorated by President of India with Vishisht Seva Medal on 26 January 2007. Please welcome Air Commodore GL Hiremath sir with a big round of applause.
So may I start? Okay, I think it's okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You have been listening to number of speakers, all eminent ones, starting from General Halagli. And I'm sure you all are charged with a lot of positive energy to serve the nation and subsequently be a part in building the nation. Bidar is very close to me because I had 2 tenures over here. I almost call it a second home as far as my personal life in Air Force is concerned. And I know Kannada, so I was requested to feel free to use Kannada wherever I feel like, Hindi also. So when it comes to question answer, if there is any, you feel free to ask in any language. I would be comfortable. Now coming to Bidar as such, Bidar is real karma bhumi, they say, right from Basavana, Bidar, Basav Kalyan is a karma bhumi. And Basaveshwar and Basavana is gaining importance global now. Wherever Prime Minister goes, you may see recently he was speaking in Kannada in one of the functions in Varanasi. And he speaks about Basavana and his values and his social reforms. He's appreciation of work as worship, Kayakve Kailasa. This is from those days. It says we take the lead. Under such circumstances, when you are so close to Basav Kalyan and Bidar, I am sure you all have that kind of DNA in you. So only thing is, it requires is a bit of ignition, and I'm sure you are ignited enough to carry this Jyoti forward and benefit yourself as well as the country. Okay, now let me see how many of you think you heard, how many of you think you can do this? Can you raise your hands just? How many of you think you can do this? Okay, good. The thing is, I must tell you that each and every one of you can do that thing. Provided, first, you think I will do it, and I can do it. And second, leave it to the armed forces. They always pick up common man, ordinary citizens. They don't want big genius or a very big, bright scholar to join and then try to prove individually. By the by, I am qualified into the GTO system and the psychology system also because of my post-graduation qualifications. Ministry of Defense conduct this course for Army, Navy, Air Force combined. I'm qualified in that thing. I can tell you with authority. What they're looking for is an average boy or a girl, not so very highly talented, leave their job to the Army, Navy, Air Force to groom them, train them. They know how to convert them. They know how to shape them. They want a person who is good in teamwork, who has the basic elements like courage. If you have that thing, if you have the basic stuff, they know how to convert them. A small ordinary boy, probably someone who doesn't know how to hold a spoon and fork and eat, or to the extent some doesn't know how to use a toilet also, they reach the academies and subsequently in no time, they are shaped up. I have seen it myself. My own son was an officer in the Navy. Not only me, the rest of the family members also would say, how has the boy transformed? Within just 1 year training, he went as a boy and came back as a man. So this credit goes to the training which is conducted by all the three services, and they put their life into it. It is like nation building starts from home. They first would like to see the correct quality of the people serving in the armed forces, and they carry on the good work or the reputation of the armed forces in the future. So now that we know that we all can do it, it's not me telling that you all can do it. It is somebody else who has told. Towards the end of my presentation, I will tell you who has told that thing. Okay. So we will see how armed forces can contribute to the nation building. My subjective one is armed forces and nation building. If you think nation building is something like bringing up a tower or a building, what is more important in that? Is it the brick? Is it the cement? Is it the sand? Which is more important factor? It is, obviously, I will not waste time. You can't make something with sand alone. And you cement, yes, to some extent, but it is the brick or the block. In the olden days, when most of these forts, the temples, the magnificent temples of India which have come up over there, no cement, nothing else, just the concrete, the blocks. The blocks are chosen, they are fitted in such a way, intervened, that worst of the earthquake couldn't shake them. Likewise, you are the building blocks for the country. If you are shaped up properly, I was a director of the works for Indian Air Force. Entire Indian Air Force, all along the country, we used to plan the infrastructure. And when you, I must tell you that when I see something happening, it flashes back in the mind that certain infrastructure, what we created, could be used during this recent Rafale when it came. The mid-air, we had to work with Israelis, we had to work with IIT to select the right kind of a component, to select, the query is selected. Whenever there is a prestigious building or a prestigious equipment or a asset is made for the Army, Air Force, Navy, the material is selected right from the origin. You select a hill from where the stones are picked up. Its density, its weight, its pressure bearing capacity, all these things are checked before approval is given. And similarly, what Global Sainik Academy is doing is creating those blocks. If they are working relentlessly morning and evening, if the Colonel Saab is going to supervise each one of the student over there as to what they are doing and how they are doing and making them a tough ones, it is he is creating the blocks for building the nation. And building nation is something, moving from this example to the next example, is like a tree growing. The older leaves make way for the bright and the younger leaves. It is whatever they have built up is further to be handed over to the new leaves. The new leaves take it. And new leaves also to be nurtured and brought up properly. So that is what is the task. All the senior citizens, all the veterans, when we come and speak to you, we are wanting to speak to the new leaves to carry the legacy and do the serious nation building. Because in our time, nobody came and spoke to us. Nobody gave any ideas. It was our own, whatever zeal we had, whatever we thought we can do, sometimes against the wishes of the people, relatives, of parents, we did it and we succeeded. And you do it, you will also succeed. Now, coming on to the subject. Okay, we have heard enough that everybody spoke about service before self. This is the main, the lifeline of all the three services. That's why, right from the beginning, service before self, then comes the armed forces, the unit, what they comes, they, your soldier comes before self. That's also we have heard. And then the nation comes before self. So that is where finally he said tricolor. When you see the tricolor, wherever it is always invokes some kind of a special feeling in our mind. Our hand many a times automatically goes up saluting the tricolor. I've just mentioned what is nation building. The nation building is a very complex activity. It is not one simple thing. And it is not one simple person or one human being can do that thing. It is entirely a team, big teamwork. It requires everybody from the society to join hands, everybody to synchronize their effort, and the synergy works. I must mention it specially here that, General Sir, the best form of admiration is supposed to be imitation. If you are imitating somebody, that is the highest form of admiration. And surprisingly, when I was seeing the presentations of speaker one after the other, I felt all of us, though some of us are meeting for the first time in our life, we have not met each other earlier, but our thoughts, our presentations, some of the things are same. We are talking about the same thing and sharing our experiences attached to those things. Okay, so in the nation building, there are certain things which are tangible factors, which you all can see. What is this nation building? How the nation is, people can see, the world can see. Those are the industries. When you say industries, the production, exports, the foreign participation, make in India, all these things are the tangible factors of the nation building. And anything, the industry can survive, the foreigners will come only when the environment is safe. The safe environment is created by whom? It is all of us. And more so, your security forces, which say that this country is not in the danger of any this thing, or it is not unstable country. Then comes in the nation building, the communication, the dams connected with power. And then latest now these days are the non-conventional energy or renewable energy. These are all part of the nation building, which apart from being whatever we did in surveys, now services incorporates all these things. They go for the latest. Anything country wants to do, first they experiment with the armed forces and see the whole thing is succeeding over there. If it succeeds in the armed forces, it can succeed elsewhere also. Like petroleum production and biofuel thing is also important to make ourselves self-reliant, because your war fighting capabilities depend upon your petroleum storage. If you want to starve somebody or surrender, you block their supplies, they will very soon, they will run out of their fuel and capability to fight. So when you build a nation, there are so many things, all these things are contributing to nation building. Now we have seen the physical things. These anybody can see, but the intangible factors are the plans, the policies, the political commitments, and the public participation. Finally, what is more important is all public participation. Plans, theory, people make it. And policy is also policy, the defense policy, the industrial policy, the environment policy, all policies are required. Unless there's a policy, you won't know where to go. So in a nation building, a plan is made, and based on the plan, the policies are worked out, and after the policies, the commitment to implement those policies and see that the results are produced. Then comes the administration. The administration, the district administration, the state administration, the national side, to implement those policies. Policies being just on the paper serve no purpose. So implementation by the administration, it has to be efficient, committed. They want to see the results. Just for the same namesake on paper, if they do, it doesn't yield any results. Effective, transparent, the promptness. If you're delaying your things, it's no good. It dies its own natural death. Law and order side, if the law and order is not satisfactory, development of the country or nation building suffers. So in that also, the promptness, the crime control, and investigations coming to a close. I thought since all the public, the civil side also are participating in this, these are also important. They are also contributing to the nation building. If it was mentioned in the first lecture over there, the common man is finally very important. If the trust is not there, his welfare is not there, everything is not made for him, the whole thing will not be a success. And one aspect finally is the HRD. That is the most important one, where the building blocks, the future is created. The basic training and the HRD has to do the basic education and subsequently train them requiring upon the jobs. Wherever they go, they need to be trained on that thing. And then comes their character building and concern for the nation. That is the job which is now forgotten. Everybody goes after the percentage, how much percentage you have got, and that percentage is the one which counts subsequently. But later you will see that if the commitment for the nation, if it is lacking, that nation suffers. You will be surprised, there are some countries which have been destroyed either by man or human efforts or by the nature. Take for example, I will not waste time, Japan. Time and again it gets hit, either tsunami or an earthquake, the atom bomb, but still they have come up every time. Not because of anything, their resources are also limited, but it is the human beings, the character. They are so upright. None of them want anything extra or anything out of the way, anything which is not due to them. They won't take it. Even in tsunami, a small boy standing in a queue for relief material, there is no pull and push. Everybody stands in their line and then they take their thing. People pay their fines voluntarily. If somebody, I had a friend who was in the Japanese embassy, Indian embassy in Japan. So he would say that one day one of his staff came late, very disturbed mentally. He said, "What happened, sir? I want half-day leave." "Why do you want half-day leave?" He says, "I have to go and pay the fine because I was late. I jumped a red light. Now I have to go and pay the fine." So he is penalizing himself for something wrong he did. Not only that, he is taking half a day leave from the office and going to pay the fine. Unless you bring yourself to that level, it is not immediately possible for ourselves to shift to that level. But we can make a start and say, I will not take anything which is not due to me. If I have made a mistake, enough has been told, everybody makes a mistake. If you have made a mistake, own up that you have made a mistake, and that is off from your head. The psychological burden is off, and if there is any punishment, you are ready for the punishment. Otherwise, you carry on doing your good work. Okay. Finally, you'll see, I mentioned also that we will have one slide wherein who says that human factor is the most important and they are the deciding factor. Now, my thing is to connect and show how it is that armed forces and the nation building are linked. Okay. Many people, I know in this crowd, many are ex-servicemen, many are NCC cadets. They know the role of army, role of armed forces. They will not take things lightly. But some of the metros, what I think when we interact, they say that forces have a good time during peace time. War time में है थोड़ा तकलीफ, but peace time में मजा करते हैं. They see only certain aspects. But peace time, who is keeping a vigil on the borders? Who is getting himself trained? Overnight, you can't be a professional. During peace time, the time is utilized to fine-tune. You will be surprised. The way soldiers are guarding the borders, the Air Force may not be right on the border over there. 100 kilometers behind the border, we are sitting and watching the borders on the radar and keeping our aeroplanes ready to go and attack the invading aeroplanes. Day in, day out, all the 365 days in the year. You are guarded. Your borders, your airspace is guarded. Radars are working. The pilot, we have two states. One is ORP-2 and ORP-5. In the normal, when nothing is there, it is ORP-5, means 2 fighter aeroplanes in one base, kept ready to take off with armed. Everything is ready. The pilot is sitting in an underground bunker. The air traffic controller is sitting in his tower. And everybody is waiting for the radar unit. If there is anything, they shoot. Okay. And next thing is, if there is any doubtful aircraft which comes closer to the thing, but it has not crossed yet. So you will have ORP-2. ORP-2 means the pilot will not sit in the bunker. He will sit in the aeroplane cockpit and strap up properly. And he is ready. He says, within 2 minutes, take off. He is ready to take off. So that is a kind of a preparedness. The missile systems, the fighter aeroplane, everything is ready. So I thought the common citizen must also know that to keep everything ready before sunrise. People have to get up 3:30, 4 o'clock early in the morning, prepare everything, including a proper briefing and medical of the pilots, and then go and take position half an hour before. You are ready half an hour before sunrise, means 1 hour before sunrise you have to go and be available over there. Everything works backwards. A thing like disaster management, you are there, whether it is earthquake, whether it is tsunami. I still remember tsunami. I was in Agra tsunami. The aircraft was sent from Agra. We were in a party in the night. We got a message, friends, moving early morning tomorrow, tsunami. So right from party straight to the tarmac, everybody getting onto their jobs. The task was to overnight convert the aeroplane. The aeroplane task was to do air-to-air refueling. The inside fittings are all made for air-to-air refueling. So we converted the whole thing in the night, working all through the night to make it fit for conveying personnel, conveying relief material. All thing was done overnight. Whatever branch he belongs to, whether he's an engineer or a pilot or administrator, everybody left their night commitment, went and stood there to see that the unit performs well next day morning. Same happened in Bhuj. So, time and again, armed forces, wherever they have always responded to the call of the nation to come up and help in not letting down or minimizing the sufferings. The role of the armed forces basically is dealing with the invading army during the wars, being vigilant to neutralize their efforts if there are any invasions. Doesn't need any explanation. And finally, aid to civil power. So whenever there are any riots, if something has to be done firmly, if something has to be done quickly, if something has to be done effectively, sometimes mercilessly, they call armed forces. In the armed forces, when they come, many a times, armed forces have come, flag march is on, most of the trouble creators, they withdraw straight away. Army has come, bhai, koi chance hi nahi lena. So, disaster management, we are there, and prestigious events at times. Any prestigious event where India wants to maintain its prestige, last minute something is required, they always call upon the armed forces. You all must be aware that something like Asian Games or something like any event which was happening, all international exposure was there, people wanted to be safe, forces were called in. To the extent that we were patrolling Delhi from the air to monitor anything objectionable. We had Baba Atomic Research Center people also on board, including monitoring if there is any radioactive material which is coming into, which can be harmful to people. So, certain things may not be known, but beyond the call of duty, people are ready to see that the nation image doesn't suffer. You must know how they do it also. Very simple, dedication and transparency at all levels. Firstly, you are dedicated and you are transparent. What you do, what you can do, what you cannot do, everything is known to everybody over there. Something got missed over there, I think. Okay, now comes to selection. Many people are asking questions in between. Selection, I must tell you, since I have done that thing myself, selection is the fairest in India. Wherever you go, you won't find a selection system like that. If somebody says that I can help you by other means, they are just fooling you. That is on the spot, the most instant selection system. A class 1 officer is selected, first day arrival, on the spot. You are selected, not selected, you are told on the spot over there. You have made it, you are not made it. Out, eliminated. And second, Third, whether it is a GTO, psychologist, or the interviewing officer, everybody takes a quick decision. End of the day, before you leave, you are told you are in or out. There is no question of ambiguity or waiting. And they have got no targets. You must select these many for this year. No. There are other selection boards. Others are also doing their job. You select your candidates, whoever is proper, meeting your characteristics. And subsequently, whatever is required to be done at the air headquarters level, they make it over there. The merit list and all those things are made. You're only selecting whoever comes with, and what is the mark scored, you're sending it over there. You have no pressure in this, you must select this match only. No. Some batches, nil selection, you're comfortable. Some batches, more people get selected, then also you're comfortable. Okay. Training. In addition to professional training, they are trained right from the beginning how to be good individuals, how to be people who can sacrifice, make supreme sacrifice when the time comes. That is all part of the training, and anybody who comes out of that training will remember that training and value that training all their lifetime, and they carry on this trend even after they come out of the service. This is added with periodical updating. A pilot who is trained and initially passed out, he knows the basic flying. Subsequently, one day some years he is in Jaguars, some years he is in MiGs, some year he is somebody who goes to Rafale. So they are again trained on the specific role what they are playing. And this is true for engineers, this is true for the missile people, and this is true for the administrators. Whatever job you are doing, once again you do a small capsule, get yourself trained, and then you perform. That helps in performing better. Okay. Now coming to length of association, we have different length of association in the armed forces. The soldiers have terms of contract. So many years they serve, and after that, if he is willing to extend and service is willing to accept that thing, extension is granted. Otherwise, he goes back and does a second career, because they join very young. Some of them are in the teenagers when they join. And 20 years service or 14 years service, 15 years service, he is just around 30 plus. So the whole life is available for him to do the second career, and many of them they do, and they're doing very well, very properly placed, either in the government or outside corporate world, and they have earned good name. That's how the reputation of the army, armed forces carries on. And for the officers, we have two categories. PC, there is one more as BC, but that also comes under the same rules as PC, and Short Service Commission. PC is the category which permanent commission, you can serve up to retirement, at least minimum 20 years. And so Short Service Commission, you have okay. Short Service Commission, you have the 5 years, 10 years, and 14 years thing, and depending upon that, you serve them. Self-explanatory. Second of career I have mentioned. Those who superannuate, like our General Sir and many of us who have superannuated but still young enough to do some good work for the society, carry on with the good work for the social work or motivating youth or farming, etc. Is military training possible for everybody? No. We are a vast country. We are a populous country. So many of the youth are coming out every year. It may not be possible to do the training to everybody. Limited people who are lucky get it through NCC, like those of you sitting here. So why deploy majority? In such cases, it is each and every school like Global Sainik Academy, you can imbibe these values. The Rotary Club, the district administration, everybody has joined hands. If the Army cannot train or the Air Force cannot train, if the NCC cannot train, there are vast majority who will be left out, can be taken care by the schooling itself. Okay. I conclude now. It is the citizen who play the key role. Armed forces have a definite role, and you all have seen it earlier. The Indian soldier, these are the typical qualities. Indian soldier, right from World War, it was mentioned, right from World War, he has earned a very good name. We have people here who went as a peacekeeping mission. Wherever Indian soldier is present, all over the world, he is regarded as a very nice gentleman soldier. So that speaks a lot about our own culture and the Army and Air Force training. Now I am ready to be shot. Any questions? If you have any questions, we will conclude also. I told you right in the beginning, if you want to do it, you can do it. It is not me saying, it is Swami Vivekananda saying. All the power is within you. You can do anything and everything, provided you decide. I told you, and it's not me saying, it is Swami Vivekananda has said it long back, and you can prove that right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity, and I thank all those guys. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.